Hey, Coach Jose. In my previous video, I talked to you about the steps to success. And like I said, there are obstacles that are going to come up between this point where you've identified your desires, your wants, and your needs, and achieving your goal or your outcome. Okay? So let's look at what those obstacles, those stumbling blocks, those pitfalls might be. The first one comes up usually right about here. It prevents you from making a decision. And that's going to be fear, doubt, and lack of self-worth. Right? You see, there's things that we all want, we all desire, and sometimes we're afraid to go after them. Right? We're afraid, and generally we're afraid of failing. But sometimes we're afraid of success. So that's another thing to watch out for. We doubt our ability to accomplish whatever it is. Right? Maybe we've tried before and we failed. So we doubt. We don't think we have what it takes to get what we want. And the self-worth, sometimes we don't feel like we're worthy. That's where that fear of success is. That maybe you have a financial goal that you want to make $1 million, but you think to yourself, well, who am I to deserve that? Who am I to deserve fame? Who am I to deserve a loving relationship, right? Whatever it is that you're looking for, sometimes we just feel like we're not worthy of it. Okay? So this is the first obstacle that we have to break through. If we want to get to that decision-making process, you have to deal with that. Okay? But then we get to the decision-making process. What stops us from creating a plan? Well, it's generally this. Ignorance. Now, I'm not saying that in a negative way, saying that you're ignorant. I mean, you just don't know. You don't know how to do it. You don't know the facts. You don't have the knowledge. Not that you don't have the mental capacity. You don't have the knowledge. You just don't know it. So you need to gain knowledge and you need to gain resources. Right? I can tell you 100% that anytime I can't achieve something in my life, it's because I don't know how. I don't have the knowledge or I don't have the resources at my disposal. And when I think about resources, sometimes I'm not just always talking about, like most people think, oh, we don't have the money to do it. No, I'm talking about the resources that you can tap into, primarily knowledge. That is the big thing. Right? You can learn on your own or you can learn from other people or borrow their knowledge or their experience. And that's what I do as a coach. I provide people my knowledge, my skills, my experience. I become a resource to them. So in terms of the resources, that's important. You have to have a way of getting information. And trust me, there is nothing out there that is a problem that you can't find a solution for, right? If you don't know the solution, you can find it. We live in the information age. So you just need to know where to look, okay? So if you can gain the knowledge and the resources, it's easy to create the plan. That brings us to the next sticking point. What prevents us from executing? Generally, it's inertia. It's a law of physics. Object at rest tends to stay at rest. Object at motion tends to stay at motion unless acted upon by an outside force. So basically, we just don't like change. It's a natural thing. So even if you're in a bad situation, even if your life is in a downward spiral, we naturally want to stay where we are. And you may say, well, I don't want to stay. That's why I decided to change. Well, yeah, in a way, that's very true. You've made that desire, you've made that decision, but you have to start moving forward. You have to execute. And it's harder to make that first step. Right? So it's just like with the law of inertia, that it takes more energy to get something moving or get it to change direction than it does to keep it going in the way it's going. So inertia is what prevents us from executing. But if we do execute, we'll start to make progress and we'll gain that momentum, we'll break through. And then here's the thing that creeps up on us in this area. And it's impatience. Okay? We want things to occur faster than they naturally occur. Right? We think things should change automatically. We decide we want to lose 20 pounds and we get frustrated when we step on the scale after the end of a week, in some cases after the end of a day, and we don't see the needle moving much. Okay? We want to lose 10 pounds in a week. We want to lose 5 pounds in a week. Maybe we've only lost a half pound. Maybe we've only lost a quarter of a pound. We don't see the results that we think we should have, so therefore we get impatient and we say, the hell with it, I give up. I can't do this. And so the thing to remember is that this analogy has been used tons of times, maybe even overused, but hey, I'm going to do it anyway. It's like planting a seed. Okay? You plant a seed, it takes time for that seed to grow. You can't put a seed in the ground and then come back the next day and then go, well, why isn't there corn? Well, because it has to go through a gestation period. It has to go through all of its stages of development to get to where it is. And each plant has its own level of time that it takes to grow. It takes, a certain amount of time for a tomato to grow. It takes a certain amount of time for corn to grow. It takes a certain amount of time for a tree to grow. It takes a certain amount of time for a human to develop. All right, so everything has its own growth period. We don't always know, we're not always in control of how long it takes. So when we become impatient, we often stop before the process has fully been engaged and has gone through its full maturation process so that we can get what we want. All right? So impatience is a big enemy, and it's the one that really rears its head for a lot of people when we look at the wall, as I like to call it, that 6-week wall that occurs in the goal setting process. Usually within 6 weeks of setting something up, 80% of the people fail. They quit. Why? Because they're impatient. Right? They're not seeing the full growth. They're not seeing how they are making changes. No matter how subtle they may be, they're still making changes. Right? But they want it all, and they want it all right now. Okay, so don't let this one get in your way. Right? So we've got the steps and we've got these obstacles. Well, how do you deal with the obstacles? All right, well, join me for the next video and I'm going to explain that to you as well.